favorite games. Period. So uh, we came together. Yeah, he asked me to do a little something for him. So yeah, that's the latest. If you haven't heard it, you can go listen to it again on. I mean, you can either run this back if you want to hear it, but you can also go to Twitter. He just released that earlier today. So you guys can check that out. Just make sure you go to Media Grounds. That is his Twitter. Trinell says, so you're saying my ears wasn't pleasure. I was not. Yeah, no, that was absolutely him. What up, Vito?
What's going on? What's going on?
Not much. Um, what up, Ipsters? Chanel, my moderator is Chanel, Brand Smith, Dark Void. Appreciate y'all coming through. Exodia, as usual. I see you. Appreciate you coming through. Triple M hopped in the building early. Appreciate it. My beard is all like crooked. I think it's from work. I haven't like straightened it out since, but that's okay. I hate when it does that too. Like it'll be like all jacked up and be like sitting just like this when I get out and I'll be talking to people like this and be like, man, this is such a bad look. Like you can even tell, like it's still kind of swayed to the side. But um yeah, appreciate all y'all coming through, man. It's an interesting Saturday. My team lost yesterday. Our team lost yesterday. That's okay. They're sitting on a bubble, whether they're gonna be in March Madness or not, we'll see. Um uh somebody from that's from Twitter side doing some sort of promo. Okay. Retro, appreciate you coming back, man. Now write me some impressive black metal. That'll take me a little bit longer. I could do it. I could do it. Don't 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 be fooled. I could do it. It'll take me a little bit longer to be able to do something like that. Um yeah, but I could have something for you. Um so what do we want to do for our icebreaker? Usually I have one like off the top of my head. I don't have one today. Uh, I was kind of in a rush to really get to uh, coming over here. I was doing stuff. I was doing some. You know what? If okay, I got one way off the scales because you'll see what I'm coming where I'm coming from. If you could have, we did. If you could have three cars, right? We did that already, right? If we could pick three cars, like what three cars would it be? So if you could have one car that you would soup up, like like Fast and the Furious style, just make that boy just fireworks in the back. One of those. You peel out. You got the too fast, too furious, style. Uh, what would you? Oh, retro's already over right now. Let Lotus Esprit. Yeah, that's the old John. I love that. What up, Andre? Appreciate you coming through too, man. What would you pick? Too fast.
You would definitely have to go first. That's not my expertise.
Okay. So back in 1992 Trans Am. Okay, I feel that. So I asked this question actually because I am Aurora is almost done. She's almost finished. Now, I don't really put this up on my Twitter, and maybe I will. Maybe I'll do some sound clips or something like that. But Vito already knows I drive around in a BMW. Not anything super special, so don't like I ain't got YouTube money. Let's not try that. Uh, but it's the first or second year. Well, the first generation that BMW moved from a straight six cylinder to a turbo four, but it's the second generation of that. I mean, the second model of that first generation. So 2014 is when they started that generation, but 2015 is what my car is. And so I have a inline straight four turbo. A lot of people like to think that it's like twin turbo just because it says twin power, but that's not really. It's actually twin scroll. But anyway. So my bucket list was to I got two bucket lists. So one was like I always wanted a BMW and I always wanted a Porsche. Like that's happening sometime in my lifetime at some point. But I have a BMW now. But also on my other side of my bucket list was I always wanted to take like try and put down as much money as I could on whatever specific car and like tune that boy. Like it was getting the Fast and Furious works. My car doesn't have all that because it's a 4-cylinder at the end of the day. But so I put some time and some money into the car, and so now it's stage 2. It's got extra boost for the turbo. The pipes have been changed out. I've removed the cat. Actually, not completely. It's a high flow cat. I didn't want to go catless though. In Michigan, we don't have to worry about emissions. So I could have done that, but I also have to keep in mind that it's also going to be my daughter's car. So at some point, so I need to make sure that's okay. So I've done that. Oh, my mom's calling. Hold on. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Mama Sandstorm. On a podcast. So we've changed the pipes, changed part of the exhaust. So the last piece that I actually got to add to it is the exhaust, which it has the original OG, the OG muffler and the pipes and everything. So it's a lot louder. It sounds metallic-y when you turn it on. It has this sound like it almost goes like when you turn it on, which is dope. But it'll have like more of a like like a deep grunt to it when we change out the exhaust. So that's something I'm doing next week. And so I was just like, okay, so if I had another car and money is not an option. I see you guys going crazy. Money is not an option. What kind of car would you pick? So for me, man, somebody kind of moved into it, but I'm gonna read these first before we get into ours. So Jay said the back 1992 Trans Am, that's hot. He said I gotta answer the question. Yeah, okay. Retro said Trans Am in my second. Okay. J Biggs black Trans Am with the Firebird on the hood, boy, with the wings spread out, boy. Got that boy growling. Retro said Smokey and Bandit style. Oh, okay. Triple M said BMW M5, like the Need for Speed Most Wanted. The M5. No. Okay. I'm gonna show you what it is. It's not the M5 though. It's the M3 GTR. It is because I actually got this special. It is this car right here. This car. See how the fenders stick way out on it. I wish I could like focus in on it to see how the fenders stick out on it, and like the exhaust is like this gray part on the side right here. So the fire be coming out the side. You know what I'm saying? It's got the big spoiler in the back. That's the baby. And I would have said that too. I gotta show you a clip of this car. God, please. Let's see, but hold on before I do that. Andre said, "Oh, we're talking cars like I prefer car, but prefer car, but that you would soup up, like not just because there's cars that I would prefer, but I would not lay a hand on those cars. They're perfection. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't. I want a Porsche 918 Spider, but I would never put my hands on that car. Like I would never let anybody else put any hands on that car. That car is perfection how it is. Why would I need more power? Like that's it for me. Like I did it. I accomplished a dream. Triple M said, but I'm more of a 750i. I feel that. That's the big body. That's the full size sedan boy. Jay Big said my wife has a 2022 X6. I like the 6. I like the 4, the 2, 4, and 6 better than I like the 1, 3, and 7. The 1, 3, and 7, they actually look like SUVs, where the 2, 4, and 6 have that like sportier look to them. Let's see, Andre said, I want an old school Porsche 911. I feel that. Like Jazz from June. Okay, yeah, I feel that. I feel that. The old school Porsche. Trinell said 1982 Pontiac Trans Am. I feel that. Retro said, my younger brother is obsessed with Porsche. I love the 928 also. I feel that. Nissan Skyline. Oh, you trying to go you trying to go Paul Walker. I see you. That kind of really set the scene. You know what I'm saying? When he pulled up and he was doing the whoosh from the turbos, but it was also letting out the smoke out the sides. Whoosh. That you ain't never seen nothing like that, boy. That was hot. That was hot. Firebirds and Grace Taste. Yeah. Andre said the other car I have in mind is a 98 Ford Mustang. I feel that. And my Midnight Blue would love one. That's when they changed the Mustang to that like longer, like slimmer version. Not the classic look. Dark Horse said I will also do the Shelby Cobra G. Ooh, yeah, the Shelby Cobra is hot. Yeah, so you got an idea for yours? I haven't really said mine, but you got an idea for yours?
Not really. Probably a Corvette. Maybe maybe the '69 Stingray or something.
Okay,
But
I feel it.
not one I could think of right offhand. Besides that, but I wouldn't do nothing to it. Like I'll just
No, that don't count. You got to pick something. You got to do something too. You got to be like, okay, this is dope, but I want this boy to do something. You got to add something to it. That's what makes it special.
then probably '85 then.
Okay, I
Yeah,
respect it.
I'll probably I'll probably do what Currency did. You know what I'm saying? And pretty much make a kit out of a Corvette. He made kit like the Knight Rider kit.
Okay,
But,
okay,
at the Corvette or whatever. So I'll probably do something similar to that.
I feel that. I feel that. So this is why I'm so obsessed with the M3 GTR. Oh, Triple M said your mic is a little lower than you. Oh, than you.
Can you hear me?
I can. I think your stuff is loud. Hold on, I'll turn you up a little bit. All right, now say something.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
Um. So this is why I fell in love. Actually, I would probably say why I fell in love with BMW. It is Most Wanted. Most Wanted really set the tone for all of that. But they have the Dodge Demon has straight cut gears too. But this whine is what makes this car so nasty. You know how most cars they are like, as you rev up, it
Mm-hmm.
don't do that. The whine just gets higher and higher, like you really pushing some power. Like it feels different when your sound is like, yo, you pushing me to my limit. You know what I'm saying? So this
Yeah.
joint, it's really loud too. So I'm gonna try and keep it. I'm gonna try and keep it low. But this is what it sounds like. This is crazy. Boy, screaming. You see what I'm saying? Like that boy
Mm-hmm.
screaming. Like, you ain't ready for that. Let
Yeah.
something pull up on you like that. You like, oh, let me. That boy about to blow up. He about to fly off. Let me get out the way. He on the
Yeah.
runway right now. 2%. He's just too low. He sounds a little louder than before. I'm gonna turn him all the way up. There you go. You all the way up. You at your highest level. You at your peak. Um, There we go. Now say something.
Yeah. Dang, that's too loud.
Woo, yeah. Okay. How about now?
Hold on, I got you. I mean, you should be able to hear it. Like, what do I sound like when I'm saying that?
Now you sound fine.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like you get the peak power. You know what is you get that Darth Sidious face. You know what I'm saying? Power! You know what I'm saying? Ah! You know? Yeah, I think that's probably the car I would really do something with. However, with that being said, like it's a V8, and I don't know if there's a turbo in there, but at that point it doesn't really matter. Like that car is already perfect, and it's actually touted as one of the more perfect cars. And I think there's only 1,000 of them, and because like in order for them to race in Le Mans, you have to have a certain number that's like out in the streets. So I think that number is 1,000, and I think they just made 1,000 of them. So if you have, Janelle said his car to turn super, absolutely, boy, I want that car to turn Super Saiyan 3 on somebody, yeah. So it's one of those where it really honestly wouldn't need anything, but if I knew there was no repercussion, especially with money wise. I would tune the mess out of that car. I would say if it wasn't that, who's the boys? Hennessy, the Hennessy team, not the same people who make the drink, but the Hennessy team, they do stuff with other people's cars, and they take it to a whole entirely different level. Like they'll add 120 horses or like 80 horses to your car, and just by tweaking and messing with it. And so like they do Cadillacs, Mustangs, almost any car really, and they got packages for them. The one that I would do is the McLaren Senna. I saw a video on it. Some dude who took it there. I don't know. Again, you have a car that powerful. I don't know why you need it more powerful. But if I was to get a Hennessy package too, I'd be like, yo, y'all got some regular Sennas. Y'all ain't messing with my car. Like I'm entirely in a different league than y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want this smoke. Y'all thought this regular boy. This ain't even stuck in here. But yeah, they'll take that car to a different level. It sounds different. It's just crazy. Andre said, "Now I want to see Arnold Schwarzenegger as a yeah. That's too much power. Get to the X-wing now. You know what I'm saying? You know how the VP City is. Yeah, I'll take you down. Put that cookie down now. Put that lightning down now. Yeah. So yeah, that's our short little icebreaker. That was kind of interesting. So our main topic, we're just gonna get right into it. I kind of hinted at it yesterday on Vito's channel. If y'all didn't watch that, we talked about some entertainment, and we watched a couple of videos. Make sure you guys go over there and watch that if you haven't. And if you haven't subscribed, I'm gonna throw that in too. Make sure you go over there and subscribe. And hit the like button too. Matter of fact, if you went to the video and you watched it, you might as well hit the like button. It's right there. You know what I'm saying? It's there right there. All it do is take one more click. You was about to click pause so you can listen to your wife say whatever she needed to, so you can get back to the show anyway. So you might as well just click it twice. Anyway,
make sure you check out Noto Coyote as well.
Yes, make sure you check out Noto.
And shout out to him. His baby's almost here. So
next week, right?
2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um.
pretty much any day now.
Right, because it could come early. Um. So y'all see the title of the screen, or title of the screen, title of the channel, or channel? No, the title of the title.
I see all that too.
Right. uh, this type of gamer trend needs to die. So I was watching Digital Foundry the other day. I don't know what possessed me to do so. Don't ask why. I just did it. Actually, I know why. It's because I wanted to hear what they were going to say about the whole Yuzu situation. Um, they're very much well known to spit, you know, these, let's just call them feelings, because I don't want to call them facts. They're not. But they got to a section, and I don't have it keyed up, so I'm gonna find the section. But they got to a section towards the end of talking about Nintendo killing Yuzu, which most of y'all know by now. Yuzu is a program that emulates Nintendo stuff, but you also need the ROM in order to get it, and that's where the whole uh, gray to black area comes in. As to people pirating games and them kind of like backing it more or less, I want to say. Them knowing about it and not really and being like, cool, as well as like throwing some underhanded tactics to other developers and stuff like that. And a lot of this is how games were like could almost be played day and date on PC with like their Nintendo counterparts. You know what I'm saying? Trinell said Sandstorm. I was watching Digital Foundry. Yeah, right. Yeah, I was hoping. I was really hoping too. Brand Smith said Digital Foundry lost me years ago when they said they could tell Mario. Yeah, right. 59.9 frames per second to the naked eye instead of 60. Yeah, that was Andre said they say that the majority of people want to hear, but yeah. So oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Andre, you're right. Before launch too. So not just day and date, but before the Switch actually got their version. So they go on about this. And one of the guys, I don't remember their names. That's how little I actually watch them. What up, SK Master? I appreciate you coming through. That's a new face. I haven't seen you. But I appreciate you coming through. Let me read that. Thank you for showing up. Yeah. Let me read what you said. Digital Foundry is the biggest stuff up in gaming. Some folks can enjoy games now because they're yeah. We're gonna get into that, because that's kind of where I'm leading to. But they speak on a piece about Nintendo and them and PC, and that's the part that I kind of want to touch. And it was so reminiscent of, well, let's get to it, because I'd rather you guys hear exactly what he was talking about.
They are separated from this community. They are not interacting with the community. Maybe there could be
and just end the matter. So, the full story we might never learn. But
and doing things that beyond what Nintendo intended, that's really cool. The Virtual Boy.
You running at 25?
No, I don't think it's alternate frames. I think it's like in the sprites and the pixel art up to like 800 something megahertz. So it's a gigantic leap. And games like that and others.
So we can move on to the next news topic.
No. It must be earlier, because the guy on the right says something.
Move games for sale forever.
Nvidia for,
and he's looking like he's not trying to say
for
anything.
Nintendo games.
I don't know all the details on this in some form, and really
but whatever energy they had going back then, it's not.
I think it was just an Nvidia Contra deal. It was just something. They had a deal with Nvidia for Switch, And I guess there could have been improving timing, given we're in the final innings of the Switch's life cycle, and I can't quite put my finger on why they've chosen now to do it. Curious to hear your thoughts on this exploration.
There it is.
That would be my reasons.
I believe he's talking here.
It's console either, and that's good, I think, because fundamentally, I kind of wish that I understand why people assume they're going to take additional measures to prevent that, though I suspect it is what ultimately is going to hurt this scene in terms of being able to preserve games. We need this stuff. We need piracy for these games to exist into the future.
Yeah. So one part he says we need piracy for games to exist in the future. I'm gonna touch on that too, because somebody tried to get me to move along with the goalpost on them, talking about preservation. But we'll get to that. That's a good little
and
piece.
So
interesting question here from Gatti. What's the only foolproof way for Nintendo system emulation to exist without any legal challenges? I feel depressed with the user news. Well, there's no way for it to exist without legal challenges, because you can make a legal challenge about anything. Whether
this is the main piece.
Playing stuff like Zelda Ocarina of Time
on Windows 98 PC.
To run exception. So it's down to emulation. Is it now more unethical to buy Nintendo games than to pirate them? Well, no, obviously.
I don't know about that.
No Nintendo, no games.
So
it's that simple.
So I think his name is Alex.
Yeah, I think in this case there were reasons how they could.
And he says,
I feel like the only to be
proven. Did you have something to say about?
Wait.
3DS.
Yeah,
Virtual Boy.
It turns out it's
I'm not gonna find it. But anyway,
you gotta start time stamping it.
Yeah. He said the thing that he said is that, and this is what caught me way off guard, because I was like, what? And then they all started agreeing with it, is that out of all three of the companies, Nintendo would be the least affected if they started putting their games on PC. And that's
Nintendo will be the least affected.
The least affected by putting their games on PC. And I was like, wait a minute. That don't even sound right. You know what I mean? So I know they were thinking.
What was their reasoning in saying that?
So it all came around how they were trying to make how they were trying to eliminate piracy, because that's basically the issue here, is that you can't, emulation is fine. The problem is the ROMs is the piracy piece. If you ever looked on a game case, and it used to be, actually, I got a perfect one. They still do it, but it used to be on the back. Or not on the back of these, but in the case, the first thing it would say is basically the legalities of the game is, really not yours. You bought the game, so it's yours, but the licensing and all that other stuff belongs to the company. So any attempts, you've seen this in movies too, any attempts to duplicate or replicate said manner for whatever reason outside of its intended use for its intended product, is illegal and could be taken as copyright infringement, blah, 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 blah. We've seen this in movies, old movies, right? It starts off before the movie even comes on. Games have that too. And as a matter of fact, most of the times when you ever see that thing where you start off and it has you scrolling all the way down for you to agree to the agreement, that's what you're signing for. It's I understand that I'm not able to do all this stuff. I can't rip the files. I can't do any of that. And it kind of gets a little, you talk to Shadow, it gets a little dicey when it gets closer to you actually owning the game and blah, 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 blah. But anyway, the thing is most of, and I put this on Twitter, most of the people who are complaining about the Nintendo being this like unconsumer friendly, anti-consumer friendly company, most of those people are the people who are complaining are the people who never bought the game in the first place. So really, they just want a free game at this point. You know what I'm saying? And that is the biggest problem, is that those people are the people who are speaking the loudest, and they have slid themselves inside the community who's like, we actually want like real game preservation. So the thing about game preservation is like, you know, we got companies, we got like older companies, Midway, Acclaim, we talk about this all the time, Midway and Acclaim, who no longer exist, you know. And those games that they came out with have a shelf life, you know, like PlayStation discs don't last forever. The more you use them, the laser burns through them, they get scratched, all this, that, and the third, so they don't last like that. And so these people want to have a way to be able to preserve the game and be able to play it, you know, future generations, you know, enjoy this game and stuff like that. I understand it, but it's just that shaky ground. So going back into what he said, he was talking about how, you know, Microsoft and Sony are already doing it, and that was the other key thing. I was like, man, y'all really want to have them follow them for like everything. You know what I'm saying? And the part I don't get is like, Microsoft is doing this exact thing, but like, ask them how that business model is going. Like, ask them how good that business model is. Like, how many Xboxes are they selling? You know what I'm saying?
All right.
So looking at Nintendo, and they're like, well, they would be the least affected by it. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody wants a Nintendo game. But that's not necessarily how it works, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
So I guess a good thing to compare it to is like, we always compare like Nintendo to Apple, right?
Mhm.
And Apple has their own computers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want that product, that quality level programming for your music or something like that, you go to Apple. That's what they're known for, right? But what if they start selling all that software out to all these other PCs? What's going to make those people be like, I still need an Apple product. I need an Apple product in order to make this work.
Right.
Or if Apple was like, you know what, you can get iOS native without having to jailbreak any of your other phones. You can get them on, you know, on your Samsung. Like, was pushing a person to be like, I need an Apple phone. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the same logic.
Yeah, they would be affected big time. Honestly, nobody would buy a Switch. They have it on PC or their Steam decks and stuff like that. I mean, they would be extremely affected unless they came up with a new system that they can't replicate at that
Right.
time. So then you would need to buy that Nintendo system. But if you're talking about right now, yes, they will be totally affected.
Yeah, they would be devastated. You know, and you said it perfectly. Like, if they had a new system, it'd be a slightly different subject. But like, you got Steam Deck, you got ROG, you got all these other handhelds that, you know, essentially took that motto and ran with it. But like, at that point, besides that saying Nintendo, like, why would most people outside of the fans want to buy a Nintendo system? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let me y'all going crazy right now. I appreciate it. Let me go back up here. Brand Smith said, and when they lied about Splinter Cell Blacklist being graphically worse than Wii U compared to PS360, despite it being visually superior, I do remember that. Andre said, I still have to do a discussion of 30 frames versus 60 frames debate. This is actually, and this is why you need to be here, Andre, because this is actually part of the conversation I'm gonna get into too. This is all Digital Foundry's fault. Like, I was gonna code name them in here, but I decided to be nice. Jay Big said, if I'm watching Digital Foundry, YouTube automatically played their video after I watched another video and I was too lazy to switch to something else. Appreciate you coming through, SK Massive. I see you. Yeah, matter of fact, everybody say what up to my boy SK Massive. Thank you for coming through, man. I appreciate that. The game idea guy, Andre, sorry. You can't preserve something that you haven't actually acquired. And that's what I'm saying. Like you can't preserve something that you never bought. You know what I'm saying? You can't jump in that crowd. That's that secret. That's that. Can I veto? That's that Illuminati stuff. That's that Illuminati being inside the Freemasons type stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. You know, wait a minute. Where did this guy come from? I'm one of y'all. No. Emulation is piracy. Okay. Oh, it isn't piracy. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, but the ROMs, using the ROMs through the emulation, that's the piracy part. I wonder if they had an item being stolen, would they feel the same? Right. SK Master said Nintendo makes their consoles to play their games. If they want you to play them elsewhere, they would have put them. Yeah, right. Exactly. Andre said Nintendo makes their games based around their hardware. They would be the most effective because they would be spending more money to make the PC. Yeah, that part too. Especially because a lot of their games are focused around the controls, right? So like not only would they have to make the PC part, but they would have to make sure like, and controllers are easy now to move over to that. But like you have to account for latency and all that other stuff on PC. They don't have to do that really with their own consoles because they do them hand to hand. You know what I mean? Right. So like trying to figure out up, down, left, and right through their own systems, they only have to do that once. You got to figure out every configuration and generalize them with PC because there's so many different configurations of a PC. That would be a headache. I don't know how third parties do it. Triple M said, considering how the certain gamers go, Nintendo would be the most effective, heavy. And even I would even say, even if Nintendo was like, we're gonna go ahead and put all these games on PC, I guarantee it. Blue Magic, I guarantee it. It's a brand. I guarantee it. They would be like, yo, this game is trash. It's trash. This game is trash. This game is trash. Like every which way to try and bring Nintendo down because they never happy. Trinell said Nintendo would be the least affected if they put their games on. Right. Right. Yeah, no, they said it. I can't find it in this. It's in this video, but I can't find it in the video. Andre said legally people aren't allowed to break copy protections, but I doubt a court of law would see that as damaging to Nintendo if someone actually paid for their copy of the game and dumped the ROM. Right. And that's what I'm saying. That's like the gray area part, though. You're still messing with somebody else's intellectual property. So like Mario, Nintendo, and moving it somewhere where it wasn't originally supposed to be at. But I'm not a court, so I don't know how that goes. Right. Because Monkey C is my let's keep Nintendo games on Nintendo console. If Apple makes the move to be a major console player, they would be worse. Oh, absolutely. They'd be way worse than Nintendo. They'll eat you alive. They'll tell everybody about you. They'll have a commercial. You know what I'm saying? Like Nintendo's petty. Don't get me wrong, but Apple, they'll do something nasty to you. They'll have a whole commercial, and that commercial will be popping.
Oh, they Trump petty.
Trump petty. They're the dopest beat you ever heard alive, and you'll be listening and singing that boy every time it come on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was one piece of it. Is like he was talking about that, and then the other two kind of agreed. Like, yeah, they would be the least affected, I think. And I'm just like, nah, nah, bro, that don't make no kind of sense. So the other piece, and this is actually a bigger piece that I really want to talk about because this is this is the type of gamer that needs to die. So not the type of gamer trend. I should correct myself.
Yeah. I was about to say, wait a minute. Are you
I don't want to get blipped on YouTube. Yeah. They'll cancel me real quick, and we've been doing great. The kind of gamer trend that needs to die. So you remember back in the early 2000s, we got that's when you and I really started on E3 type stuff. I know I started watching E3 first, and then you kind of fell into it too. Like, you know, as the years were going, and then we were kind of we would even talk back and forth about the new games and, you know, everything that was coming. But we always watched it.
I watched it on Spike.
Yeah, on Spike. And Spike, I think, were they casting it from G4? Is that how it worked?
I believe so.
So, okay. So like we got a lot of gaming information from G4. And really that was like how you knew whether you was going to pick up a game. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we had the GameSpot magazines and stuff like that. We would read through the game, you know, read through the magazine to see if the game was interesting or not. And, you know, they would give off scores and blah, 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 blah. But like at the end of the day, it was kind of like, okay, this game that I was really interested in, let me see the reviews that they had for it, you know, and they would give their reviews, what was good about the game, what was bad about the game, ultimately the score at the end of the day. And that made you feel like, oh, like, should I get this game or should I not get this game, right? And as the years went on, we kind of saw more and more them pushing narrative. And we talk about this all the time too. With Shadow is the whole Wii U thing. Them pushing the narrative of the Wii U, them talking about them not knowing whether it's a console or not, and them saying console 7 times in their first showing of it, and them just being like, what, you know, is it a tablet? Is it an add-on? Like, what is it? So we got narrative pushing, right? Now the new G4 now is Digital Foundry. So now people, so we have these people out there who are like, you know, I can't play a game unless it's, you know, 60 frames or less, unless it's got ray tracing, unless it's got this, unless it's got that, unless it's got this, right? Digital Foundry does these analyzations, if you will. And let me go to a perfect one. This is a perfect one. I would go to the Mario Kart one. But that's way too far back. So the one that I watched was about Skull and Bones, I want to say. Yeah, really gonna make me find this video too. And it should be in your like last things, right? It just came out. There it is. There it is. I found it. So they're giving their analysis of Skull and Bones and how they feel about the game. That's interesting. It just changed up my view. It just completely changed up my view. Okay, there we go. So they're kind of giving their ideas and their thoughts about Skull and Bones, and, you know, showing the frames, all that other stuff that they normally do.
That presents on this PC.
So you get like the showing of like, oh, how the frames work. You know, are they stable frames? They could be up and down. They talk about reflections, blah 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 blah. They talk about, you know, the look of the game, blah 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 blah.
The fact that sometimes
they talk about performance mode versus quality.
of being a pirate.
They
But
asked about,
as a part
you
of that,
know,
when you just
triple A
own a ship,
experience or
everything
quadruple A
comes with
experience.
you. On
Um,
board another ship is much too bogged down in this.
and then they talk about the end, and they tell you, you know, basically they say that the game, some of the takes I agree with, but overall they're like, you know, the game is not a good game because this, right? What I've come to find out, what I've come to realize as being a content creator is that your job, our job, right, is not to tell somebody whether to buy or not buy something, right? Because ultimately, they're gonna do what they want to do, and that also, as an I don't want to say influencer. I don't want to be called an influencer, but as a person who somebody may take my opinions as fact or thoughts as fact, I don't want to sway you into making your own decision, right? And this is what I see time and time again, whether it's Skull and Bones, Mario Kart, you know, the new Dark Forces game, anything. They'll be like, well, I don't, you know, I think this game is not really well handled because blah 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 blah. I didn't really like it, and it really wasn't a fun game. It really just wasn't enjoyable for me. So, you know, if anybody ever asked me, like, I would tell them no. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know what I'm getting at? So, so because of that, we have this trend now, this type of gamer trend who is like, let me go look at the new Black Myth. I'm really interested in Black Myth, but before I decide to go get this game, I want to make sure that it's in 60 frames and Digital Foundry says that it's okay. Those are the that's the trend that needs to die. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, well, to be fair, I mean, back in the day, that's exactly what we did, except it wasn't that specific as far as like how many frames per second or whatever like that. But we would go to like a GameSpot or GameFly.com or watch Spike TV and see what the ratings are on it. You know what I mean? And kind of base a little bit of our opinion on that. You know, as far as like if we're gonna go, you know what I'm saying, mess with it or whatever. So in a sense, I mean, this would just be the new age way of that. You know what I'm saying? They're going to digital foundry, you know what I'm saying, for it, instead of doing all the extras that we did, you know what I'm saying? Which, you know, like you said, we're gamers, and knowing our experience is like, whatever you say on these platforms, and the more followers you have, the more your followers are going to kind of do what you kind of, you know what I'm saying, like are kind of leaning towards, or either they think the same exact way. You don't want to deter somebody from enjoying what could be to them a great game. You know what I mean? So, like, for you, Skull and Bones was A1 for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For me, I didn't listen to anybody. So I just went on to it and played it for what it was. You know what I'm saying? I played the demo, of course, but you know what I'm saying? I played, you know what I'm saying, what I thought it was, you know, what it was going to be. I was seeing what it was about, and I had my own opinion about it. Right. It's just ironic that other people had that same exact, like, opinion. But, you know what I'm saying? I didn't listen to anybody. But I see what you're saying as far as, like, instead of trying not to demo yourself, these gamers that are, you know what I'm saying, that has this trend going on and stuff, they going straight to digital foundry.
Right.
But I can't say that, you know what I'm saying, there's something new. There's always been like
let me expand on that too. So the other piece is, and I think this is what makes the biggest difference, is when we were doing it, like you said, like we had the magazines and stuff like that. The conversation was mostly between the people that you knew. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd be me, you, Brendan, this, that, and the third, Nick, whoever. We would have this conversation amongst us. But because the internet is so widely spread now, and you got those people who are like, if they see 59.9, they're like, "Ooh, no, I can't touch that anymore." Yeah. Now it's almost like they played the game too. So it's like, and and we got this perfectly with Starfield. Like, oh, you see that missing frame over there, or like you see that glitch right there, and you and I have played the game well enough to be like, okay, I saw some glitches like down here, but like, was this game like really that glitchy? Not as bad as they try and make it seem. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, you want 2 steps? It's a glitch. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, it comes, oh, trash. Like, don't buy this, trash, blah, blah, blah. Like, and then that's where the snowball effect comes in. And I think that's the actual gamer trend is like, you can have, if you want to hear somebody else's opinion or review or whatever, go for it.
Yeah.
The trend that really needs to die is the people who take those as fact and act like they've played the game. So they run with this as fact.
Yeah. That's why I shut down like this dude at my job all the time, because he goes off of what they say or what this and the third. And he tried to hit me with what game was it? I believe it was Starfield. He tried to get at me with that. And I was like, do you have Game Pass? Do you have any of these you know what I'm saying? Like systems that actually play it or whatever like that. Do you have a PC or do you have a Xbox? I think he said he has a PC, but he doesn't play like that. So he has a PlayStation. Pretty much, he does not have access to this game. But he tried to convince me that, oh, I heard it was garbage, man. Yeah. No, I can't deal with it. Even if I did have it, then I was like, well, I can guarantee you, I have a PC and I have a Xbox, and I played them on both. Right? I can guarantee you what they're saying is their opinion. My opinion is this is actually pretty fun. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, people had expectations for it, but those expectations, just like you said with Skull and Bones, wasn't showcased or wasn't said. You know what I'm saying? But I beg to differ. You know what I'm saying? We're comparing it to a whole different game than what was presented. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're comparing it to No Man's Skies. To be honest, we kept saying No Man's we was calling it like No Man's Starfield or something like that.
Yeah.
We was messing around with it or whatever. But but he's probably one of those gamers, and it's like pretty much what it is almost like the generation. I don't even want to say generation. I don't want to do that. But
right. It's the same thing.
But I definitely would like to say it's definitely the age of social media has made everything, including entertainment. Let me go over to the shade room or something like that and hear about Beyonce's new album or something like that, and I'm making my opinion from that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I heard it was garbage. Oh yeah, that was garbage. Have you played it yet? Nah, but you know what I'm saying? Everybody's saying it's garbage now.
Yeah, I ain't gonna listen to it because they said it was garbage.
Yeah, pretty much just kind of following the crowd. This time, all right, so there was this saying of following the crowd back in the day, right? And that's what, somebody would like basically just kind of follow somebody for, because they think they're cool, so they follow that trend or something like that.
Yeah.
Now these days, it's not even following the crowd; it's being the crowd.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
Yeah, being a part of them.
Yeah, being a part of the crowd, not following it, but actually being a member of that crowd. You know what I'm saying? So, just to kind of bring it back, and you know what I'm saying, as far as like people just now these days is being that type of gamer, like it was to be expected, especially with social media being as popular as it is, YouTube,
Right.
Twitter, or X, or whatever you want to call it. Even our streaming platforms such as like Kick and Twitch. You know what I'm saying? Like these are influencers. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And there's a reason why they're called influencers. So if we hear an influencer say something, that's literally what they're about to do. They're about to influence a whole crowd of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about like streamers like Aiden Ross or Castanet, especially Castanet. Anything Castanet says is law. That's what it is. So it's like for him to like, yeah, we're giving out like PlayStation 5s and da. You know what I'm saying? In New York, meet us here. This is the third, and he like literally had thousands upon thousands of people in this one spot waiting on him. That's an influencer. So basically, that's pretty much what these gamers are now these days. Certain gamers, I ain't gonna say all, but
yeah,
you know, they're influenced by the influencer, and I believe Digital Foundry is definitely a influencer. You know what I'm saying? So
SK Massive and SK Massive and Dark Void kind of said something, and it makes me wonder, like, if I ever had that position, how I would feel about it. But SK Massive said, why is it that reviewers no longer talk about fun factor, but all speak the P's and the FPSs, you know, the polygons and FPSs. And then Dark Voice said, I've been saying, sadly, they don't play games for fun anymore. They only play games by numbers, which is crazy because like that's almost what it is. It's like, you know, I can only play my games in 60 frames. The game was
literally what Shadow and you and everybody else says on, you know, from Wing of the Podcast is it's not being played for fun. Matter of fact, I just watched I don't know, I just subscribed to her, but she had a video talking about like the older you get, I guess like back in the day, the fun we used to have playing games no longer exists, and it could be due to a lot of things. But I see that a lot of it is people are worried about what's popular in social media, so frame rate, ray tracing. Honestly, if I want to play dumb, what is ray tracing? I don't care about ray tracing. I want to sit there and flash and dash and, you know what I'm saying, become a hero of something that I'm not. It's a fantasy game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We don't have fun.
Yeah, that's what it is. Really, is like people want to play. They want to be the dude, bro. So they want to have that conversation with like their other friends. Like, oh, have you played that game? Have you played Mortal Kombat? You know, oh yeah. You know, I'm all in there. Blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know, and then it's also too like, you know, is the game 60 frames? Or does it push this many polygons or something like that? Is it in 4K? You know.
How realistic does it look?
Yeah, how realistic is the game? Oh, it can't run this, it can't run that, so I can't play it. You know, it's wild because a lot of those games, like even back when we were younger, like 30 frames or 60 frames. A lot of those games are even 60 frames. So it's just like, like what you going on about? You know. Andre said, play games for fun. What are you even talking about? You play games to show off your superior. Right. That part.
Yeah, that's what it is now. Yeah. It's a sport. It's a sport now. Real talk.
Yeah.
It's a profession. It's a real profession.
Trinella said, funny you said there. It used to be a time factor and a rated. Now it's, more of the way it looks, but less about game mechanics. People need to start getting used to playing ugly games. Yeah, that part.
Yeah.
Or at least pixelated games, because some of the pixel games, the like HD 2D games, they're fire. That's why we're getting pretty watered down games and pro consoles when they can't even develop for the originals. People are using the opinions of others as their own rather actually forming their own. That's happy. That's it right there.
Yep. They don't have their own opinion, right?
Yeah.
They're using everybody else's opinion. They literally are not thinking. That's literally Gen Z. Sorry, I had to say it. That's Gen Z's thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Follow
the leader.
Z. Yeah. Like my class is from the computer.
Brand Smith said, look at Master Detective Archive Raincoat. AA game with nowhere near a big budget, but a good looking game due to great art direction. The game industry could use more of that thinking. And I think Ubisoft touted this game as a quadruple A game, and it didn't do what they thought it would. But to be fair, they also had a lot of problems with it too. So that actually makes me really scared. Side note for Beyond Good and Evil. Triple M said, but if these have the so-called top of the line specs, something's not right, or someone is running the narrative. Andre said, everybody online claiming they're playing at 4K 60 frames on PC when the majority are playing the game on a single screen PC with a 1080. Right. And I even push this too. A lot of those people will be like, I can't play a game unless it's 60 frames. This game is trash if it stutters in 60 frames. 60 frames this, 60 frames that. But watch it be a graphically high fidelity game, and then it be like, yeah, we're capping the frames at 30, and then their narrative changes so much. They're like, oh, it's still a great game, though it plays in 30, but that's because like they're pushing the technology to its limits, and with all the ray tracing and everything, and the the textures and all that, like it's to be expected that it'll be at 30. But bro, I thought you only said you could only play on 60. That don't make no sense to me. You backtracking now? Like you playing these games? That's and a lot of times you'll see it when you're on Twitter when somebody talks about they only play 60. I tell them like, I bet not never see you pick up a 30. I bookmark everybody. I bet you never pick up a 30 frames per second game. I will call you out the moment you do and be like, what you doing with that? What you doing with that? Because that's not for you. You don't play that. That ain't for you. That ain't for you. So, hold on. For whatever reason, I decided to look at my phone, and my mother wanted me to send her my podcast. That's kind of crazy. My mom never asked me for she didn't want the podcast. That's not what she wanted. She wanted something completely different. Sorry. So where was I going with that? Okay. Vito had to step out. So yeah, it's just like, yeah, I don't ever want to see you ever pick up another 30 FPS game. Like, regardless of the graphics, you said you could only play 60 frames. Let's see. Triple M said also Bethesda doesn't have the best track record, so I can't be too harsh for some to be very wary. Yeah, it's one of those. Like, I feel him on that. Trinell said it's not about following the crowd; it's about being the crowd. Is dropping it. Yeah, facts, super facts. Andre said video games are toys you play on your TV or monitor. SK Massive, it's a matter of the more you know, the less you enjoy it. Right. Facts. Meanwhile, I'm jumping back and forth from Switch to PC, going from 30 to 60 to 60 to 100. It doesn't even bother me. It's really not that, like, I do the same thing. It's really not that hard to adjust. To be honest with you, frames matter, but they really don't matter to me like that. Like, I can pick up Zelda and play in 30 frames and then turn around and play Diablo in 60, or select your first person shooter game here. It doesn't bother me like that. And even in pacing, it really doesn't, it doesn't matter. But for whatever reason, somebody's got to have that little notch in the corner telling them exactly how many frames they have to have or that they're planning to be like comfortable. Because anything less, they're starting to get sick. I've seen some people be like, oh, if it's less than 60, then, you know, I start to feel nauseous. You're lying. Innocent minds enjoy things more. Dark Void, funny. So which is it? I love the guys that was enjoying the game until Digital finally told them it's 35. Yeah, right. Like, oh, it's in 30. Oh, that's yeah. The hurricane was info. Yeah. She it's too late. Okay. I was supposed to send her a code for something. Yeah, I was supposed to send her a code for something and it didn't get sent. So yeah. Mama Sandstorm. My apologies. She's like, I'm going to bed. I ain't dealing with you right now. Andre said, so many people said anything below 60 makes them. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Like, it makes them feel motion sickness. I can't imagine. Like, how do you? I don't even know. I'm not even trying to figure that out. Like, so many people said anything below 60 makes you feel nauseous. Like, how many games have we had that are like less than 60 frames? And the majority of the games in the 8th generation are less than 60. So did you just start gaming? And like I even told a guy this on Twitter. It was like, if either A, you just started gaming, or B, your selection of games is really, really small. Like, and if that's the case, I feel real bad for you, because you ain't living until you try some of these games. And I guarantee if you get sick playing anything less than 60, then you missing out. Andrew said, whoop, missed it. Andrew said, I'm not saying these people don't exist, but I doubt it is anywhere near as many people as they're saying, right? Unless they're trying to play them all in VR too. Wait, they literally have to have FPS counters on the screen just to play. I get it for test run reasons, but yeah, I can do it. I could do it. But yeah, they have to have that sitting. And I've seen it. That's how I know. They have to have that floating number sitting right in the corner to tell them exactly how many frames is going on right now. And if they drop even one, like they're just like, oh, I can't play that. Brent Smith said, how did some of these playthroughs? That's what I'm saying. Like you have to be new at that point. Like you couldn't have been playing too long, because a lot of these games are less than 60. And definitely if they are 60, it's like an unlocked 60. So it's just doing all this. Andre said, I wonder how they watch TV or to YouTube or Switch. They can't because well, it's different, because if they're watching TV or YouTube, they're only watching reality stuff. They don't watch any anime. They don't watch any cartoons. They only watch real stuff. And for whatever reason, it works better that way. But when it comes to a video game and putting a controller in your hand, it just makes you a little bit nauseous just moving around. It's completely different. The world is not real, so it just makes you feel weird and uncomfortable, and your stomach just starts aching, and you start getting a headache, and you start breaking out in sweats, and you don't know what's going on. He said they definitely didn't play GoldenEye Ocarina of the Time back in the day. Cholam said probably on 2.5. You're right. Right, that part. Try to keep the frames up. Yeah, so dang, I lost the. Let me go back to the history. There it is. Yeah, so it's one of those situations where it's like that's the vocal minority, but that minority speaks really loud, and it's like teaching others to really kind of be that way. Like, oh, we should really try and make this a standard. And it's like, wow. So sorry, y'all. I'm like it bugged me, and I was trying to find him talk about um that piece with Nintendo. Yeah, I can't find it. Dark Void. Oh, my bad. So Andre said, people getting discombobulated when they actually have right. They're getting all woozy in the head, like, oh, I can't play anything less than 6. Wait until we get more 120 games. Then that narrative is gonna switch. Like, oh my gosh, once I move to 120, like 60 just looks so blurry to me. Like, I can't even play in 60 anymore. It's like I'm blind whenever I play a 60 frames game. Triple M anime has 24 to 25 frames at least for expenses reasons, unless they want really wow the viewers with smooth and slow-mo scenes. Yeah. Dark Void, my favorite are the people who think Zelda would be better off in 60 frames. Yeah. Right, that part. Even take short content animation. So there's another piece. I'm sure y'all saw me going back and forth with somebody. I told them they could jump on the podcast if they really wanted to, and it got really set. It got really quiet, and I know why, because they were trying to push this. They were trying to push this narrative, and it wasn't floating. I wasn't gonna move until their track, but what did he say? And it made me think of something else too. What did he say? And they got real quiet. No, that wasn't him. That wasn't him. Actually, I don't know if he got quiet on my. He must have got quiet on my stuff. Oh, every now and then. Every now and then, people just people are funny. Seriously, if you didn't support the game, you can't be at all about preserving it now. I love. I'm gonna show you on my Twitter. I love how this stuff blows up. I love how this blows up because it's funny to me. Because most people like skim through what I'll be talking about, and it's like you didn't really catch what I was saying, right? So this is the big one. This is kind of where all this kind of stemmed from, and I know most of you guys actually already saw it. Unfortunately, I can't zoom it in. I'm sorry, y'all, because I'm on the widescreen monitor. So I said, after watching Digital Foundry's usual ridiculous takes about Nintendo's lawsuit, it's ridiculous to me that y'all get mad about game preservation but didn't buy the game in the first place. How can you preserve something you never had owned? So the fact is like, how can you complain about something if not being preserved or something not being there for you when you never owned it in the first place? And this was kind of in the same veins of the Wii U too, right? Like, you never owned a Wii U, but you get mad that Nintendo is closing the eShop, but you never owned a Wii U. So why are you the one getting mad about? Well, you the last person to be getting mad. I'm actually text that out. I'll text it out later. So the last 3 replies, yeah, I got basically the same thing. I still think it's funny. I can only imagine how intelligent you felt typing that moronic take. I can only imagine how moronic somebody is for thinking that my take was wrong, because it wasn't. It wasn't. I feel bad. I feel bad for you, son, because the fact is you got people. If you pay for the game, I would be mad at those people. To be honest with you, to keep it 120,000% real, I would be mad at the people. I would be mad at the people who decided that they were going to get the game that I paid for, that I was trying to drop into a ROM to be able to make this to make this game preservation work. They're doing it for free. They're skimming off of me. I paid for the game. You ain't even give me no money. You ain't even put down on it. You ain't even put 5 on it. But you want to get the game preservation too? Nah, get out of here, son. I don't think so. I don't think so. Let me see. Brent Smith said, hope you had a hard hat for posting that comment. You're gonna need them for 20. Yeah, and at the end of the day, a lot of that stuff doesn't really bother me, especially when I know I'm in a mood, bro. Like if I'm in a mood, like you can't kill my vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like some dude called me like a bum with a beard. Like, bro, you could never grow one of these, my guy. Like, even if you did, it ain't never gonna be as lavish as this. And I'm not even a cocky person. Andre said, because Nintendo isn't allowed to shut down a storefront if I haven't gotten what I want from them yet. Right. I can take all the time in the world. It already better be ready for me when I'm ready, whenever that is. Brad Smith says, some do argue back and forth at me for 2 days on Nintendo everything. This is just, yeah. I don't block people. That's like one thing I won't do. I've had people block me, but I won't block people. If you want to keep going back and forth with me, that's fine. You can find me, like Shadow says, you can find me on the channel. You know exactly where I'm at. You can look on my profile and it has a channel right there. If you want to come in my comment section, you want to jump in right here, and we can talk back and forth, and you can talk about how you feel about it. You're more than welcome to. I'm right here. I am not going anywhere, and I'm not scared of anybody except for God, because God got me. I can sympathize for the ones who actually own the Wii U, but the ones who didn't slide the other way for me. Yeah, you're right. And the very same ones who trash it. Right, exactly. And the ones who trash it in the first place are the same ones who are like, oh, they're throwing it away. You know what I'm saying? Now they're not giving us the eShop, blah, 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 blah. Where's your Wii U at? Well, I was gonna buy one. From who? The secondhand store? Because you wasn't buying it from Nintendo. Dark Voice said, but the thing, Nintendo gives people ample time to buy it, and people just don't do it until the very right. And even then, they spend, when they hear about it, there's a time limit to when you can get it, they sit there and whine about the time limit. Like, oh, we only got a year. They're only giving us a whole year to get this. I don't have enough time. That's not enough time. A year is not enough time. It's blasphemy. It's a year. You get tax season before that. Like, there's no reason. You get Christmas before that. You better ask somebody, even if you're not buying it for them, from Nintendo themselves. SK Master said, I've been off trying. It is. But because we have this channel, like, I gotta throw it on there. So it is what it is. And so, like, as of lately, I've kind of been inviting that toxicity. Every now and then I really try and talk about positive stuff. SK Massive, since you're not on Twitter, But I felt like this one was one that needed to be said, and I'm not the only one who feels that way. But I speak for a few people. Shadow's gonna have his voices and his opinions on it as well. And T already did one, and both of those are my brothers, and they don't agree. They don't necessarily agree with each other, and both of them are my brothers. So, it is what it is. Brand Smith said, I normally don't block either, but the guy was annoying. Like, yeah. Roy said the biggest example of that was the Mario 35 collection. Remember how everybody complained and cried that Nintendo was only there one time, but then was yeah. And I felt like they did that too with the Mario 99. Like they went crazy over the Mario 99. Oh, that's not enough time, and it's gonna be gone for good and blah 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 blah. And they did Tetris 99 too. Like, oh no, like shut up. They had a decade worth of time. That's a lot more, right? J Biggs. Wii U's been out since 2012 and it's 2024. When you find the time to buy a game, sorry, too late. I would even say this too, and this is something that people really don't talk about like that. Y'all want to talk about game preservation and how Nintendo will close the eShop, but I haven't heard a single one of y'all talk about how PlayStation has more or less use the same online infrastructure, and yet you still can't just play PlayStation 3 games off of PlayStation 4. Like, that's still not a thing. You can't play PlayStation 5 games digital. I ain't even talking about putting it in the disc. Digital. You still can't do that. They're not available like that. You can't do that. So, like, where's that complaint at? I don't see y'all complaining about that. I don't see the hater on that. I've been slowly creeping up, smashing down walls. Yeah. SK Master, I'll never forget the time Spawnway complained about Nintendo Mario 35 collection, then turned around and in that same video put a 30-day notice on some shirts he was. Oh wow. The Mario 99 thing was an event, something gamers wanted to be in an event. It's meant to be done at a certain time frame. Be careful what you right. So yeah, it's just wild, and people are coming at me left and right. Like once again, I'll speak on this because especially this whoever Dakota Desire or whatever. Like seriously, do y'all even hear yourself sometimes? Yeah, we're gonna handle that. That's gonna get handled. It's not like I'm not even like mad at the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not even mad if somebody disagrees with me. But like if you think that is a dumb take for somebody to have a game for free when everybody else paid for it, and then other people are talking about preserving the game and you want the game for free, then you looking at the wrong stuff. Like you not what you think you looking at, and I've already told somebody that what you think you looking at is not really what you actually see. So the guy here, I'm just busting everybody out. This is the day I'm busting everybody out. And I don't do that. That's not even my style. But he said Awful Take ignores all the actions companies take to remove these games from consumer access in order to sell them again. Badly ported, if revived at all. Then he said, are these games available to purchase, or were they pulled from either market or digital? But regardless of all of that, that's not what I was talking about. Like people get real quick to read something and be like, "Oh, he's against game preservation." Like y'all not listening. Y'all think y'all know, but y'all not listening to the actual words that's coming out of my mouth. And then you wanna put words in my mouth to try and skew your narrative. That's not what I said. What I said was the people who are complaining are the people who are getting games for free. That's the part that I'm talking about. But y'all okay with that? Y'all more okay with them than me calling them out. And there's something wrong there. Andre said you can disagree all you want. Just be ready for the smoke to come back to it. Yeah, right, exactly. And you gonna get a whole gift from me. Like you gonna get a whole gift, a nasty gift. You know, I hit my man's. What did I hit my man's with? The don't worry, I'll wait. You know, I said whether you they are or aren't isn't the subject. You are missing the point, but I get it. You want to twist the narrative to fit what you want the outcome. As a matter of fact, we're going to do this right here. Copy this link. We're going to copy this link. We're going to go back because I don't feel like saying the same thing over. She can get the same comment he did. She can get the same comment he did. Let me see here. Let's get that. You can have that. Take that. Here, let's take that. What's that? You know what? We're gonna say that for later. That's a private conversation. I don't know why I'm letting y'all in on all that. That's a whole private conversation. If you want to see what happens next, go to the Twitter link. Y'all already know where it's at. SK Master, I understand YouTube is on Twitter. Most information from the companies are posted there. Facts. Andre said it's easier to be offended by something you didn't say than to pay attention to what you actually right. If the game was available, they still won't buy them, especially if that's what I'm saying. Like there's some honest people out there who will buy every Nintendo game, don't own a Switch, and move those stuff over to ROM so they can play them in 60 frames or 120 frames, however they want to play them. That stuff is great stuff. I'm not even talking about them. They have their own mess to deal with, and that has nothing personally to do with me. That doesn't affect me personally as of right now. It could down the road if more people do it, but as of right now, I buy games and enjoy them. Whether they're 30, 60, 15, 120 frames, it don't matter to me. 1080p, 540p, 8K, it does not matter at this point. The problem is the people who don't buy them. The people who wait for somebody else to download them so they can download their zip and open up the file and have Tears of the Kingdom for free. Those people are the problem. Those people are the problem. How are you going to preserve something that you don't even own? That's piracy. That is piracy. That is piracy 101. You know what I'm saying? I can't walk into the bank. Matter of fact, you can't even own a credit card, buy everything you want, and not pay it back. Like, that's stealing. You will get hit with card fraud. Like, it's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. You cannot play and mess with something that you do not own. They will come back at you for it. Anybody can fight me on that and we'll lose. Like those are facts. Those are facts. That's all I'm saying. He said controversy is the most gaming thing in the gaming community on Twitter and other social media outlets. Yeah, and that's fact. That's fact too. And it's really sad. I'll say two pieces of this. As a content creator, it is fun. It's sad to see that my fellow gamers have gone this route, but it's also fun to watch how many people go crazy over business moves. And that's mainly SK Massive. I know you're new to the channel, but that's mainly what my channel is about. That's what I'm really passionate with. The whole Sandstorm crew, is passionate about is the business moves that these companies make. Those are the interesting things that we like to talk about. The aftermath that takes place that make people go crazy, the other gamers go crazy, that's the stuff we laugh about. Like that's the stuff that we kind of just go on about. That's the whole point of this video. Is that not only do you have people who want free games who pirate the games, but the masses of these younger I would even say I can't even say it's necessarily younger gamers, just like Vito said, but there are so many people out there who would rather play frames than they would play gameplay. And that is just so unfortunate because they miss out on so many great games. They miss out on so many opportunities because they would rather hit this magical number that nobody really cares about, just to say, I did that. Just to have that out. Like, that was me. I did that. I played this game and I made it happen at this level. Only me. And that's sad. That's it. The gaming community never used to be like that. I don't know who transformed it into that, but it's something that needs to go away. Because that is another piece in our whole gaming community that is really killing gaming. We've talked about this last time. Developers and how much they spend, that's also killing gaming. But on the other side of that is because one of the reasons that they are spending so much too is because gamers expect certain things and certain requirements and not even expect. They are, what's the word I'm looking for? Entitled. They feel like they're entitled that certain games should have certain magic numbers: 4K, 8K, 60 frames, 120 frames, ray tracing, real time, global luminescence, like all these words, Unreal Engine 5, anything less, like all these magical words, instead of, is like the game fun? Is the game entertaining? SK Master said, I've been watching for a while, probably for over a year, but I'm usually also busy. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Do your thing. I really appreciate you coming through, though. I really appreciate it. Actually got time to actually message with us. I really appreciate you. He said controversy is, I already read that piece. Yeah, so is just one of those, man. And that's why that trend needs to end, because in order for us to move forward, in order for gaming, I would say, in order for gaming to move forward, we all have to move forward. It can't just be the businesses and models move forward, right? Because if they move forward and they're like, okay, sorry, this is where we're going to sit at for a while, because anything more than this is going to come out of pocket for us, and we're going to have to sell a lot more. So this is where we're comfortable at in making these type of games. We have to accept that and be like, okay, this is what the industry is looking to. And that's not to say, really, that's to say that like games should officially be fun. Like every game that you put out, not every game, well, every game you should strive to put out to be a fun game, not hitting magical numbers, just an all-out fun game, a game that you are enjoying and being entertained by, instead of a game that, you know, now I feel motion sick because I hit 59 frames. And if we do that, then gaming can actually take a step forward. Then not only can, you know, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo really sit on their systems and develop those systems and the capabilities that they can hit, but it also allows for developers to really kind of use their imagination again, because I think that's what's really lacking, is imagination. We ain't getting too much in the imaginary department. we're getting the same mold reskinned as something else. I need somebody to, and not Nintendo, not Nintendo. I need somebody else to think outside the box, do some stuff outside the box. And we're kind of seeing that with some of the titles, especially what they showed off at Microsoft, the last showcase. Some of that stuff was cool. The samurai one, I can't remember the name of it, but the concept of it was, I was enjoying that concept even more so than the visual aspect of it. Trinell said, while I understand that gamers are being entitled, but some of these games companies keep pushing the narrative games that have these, and instead of showing off their game, and that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody has to do it as a whole, because I think that at the end of the day, these companies want to make numbers. They want to hit numbers, right? In order for them to do so, they have to meet satisfactory needs of the gamers. The problem is that the gamer expects so much right now because you've thrown so many buzzwords and glam title words in their head. And we have to come back from that. Like, you have to put ownership on that. If the next Assassin's Creed is not 4K and it's 1440p native, but it's 60 frames, leave it at that for a while. Leave it at that for a while. It's very much believed that, especially coming from the 7th gen, that resolution solely defined graphics. Like, a game that is in 1080p is always going to look better than a game that's in 720p, and that's not true. That's absolutely not true. A game that is in 2K or 4K is always going to look better than a game that's in 1080p, and that, again, that's not true. That is not true. Fortnite, in my opinion, will never look better than Zelda. Like, it won't look better than Zelda. It's not going to look better. It's not going to look better than Mario. It's not going to. And that's just my opinion. And neither one of those games are in 4K except for Fortnite. So it's one of those where we have to let they have to let the buzzwords go, and we have to let the buzzwords go. We just have to enjoy the games first as is. Andre said, I want to see a PS1 style game made using all the advantages of modern tech. Just like, hold on, I'm about to show you right now. Just like, where are you? Here you are. Just like this game right here. This is the game. Just like, where are you? Oh, it's loading up. That's why. There is a game out there. And I think I talked about it last month, possibly. What? But this would be the game. Let me bring it on here. Bring it on here. Yeah, let's do this one. So this game screams out PS1 to me, even in the feeling, not even just the look of it. Share there. Yeah. This game. So it's got PS1. It's got the PS1 look all over it. Just a lot more modernized. And I'm excited. I think it's out. If it's not, then I'm gonna pick it up. I enjoyed the demo, and playing through the demo a little bit.
Sovcon and his calamities, they're all going to pay. You can't hide from me.
Yeah, it's the art style is amazing.
Joe, what have you done? Shut that up.
Yeah, so yeah, that'll be hot. That game's hot. MK Massive says Indy's been picking up the slack. Okay, so I said also last week that that Indies at this point are pretty much the new third-party developers. Because they're the ones coming up with the different games, like the real off the wall games that turn out to be a lot of fun. What is that? The crab game that's like the Darkstalker style. Like I'm really tempted to just go ahead and pick that game up, just to show my support for it. Like that's interesting. I like the idea of that. I hate Souls games, but I like the idea of that, and I want to support that. Like I want to see where they go from that. Indies are slowly getting more and more with PS1 graphics out. Yeah. Let's see. J Biggs, people take art style into consider only. Yeah, that's the problem. People only take the art style into consideration, and they assume art style and resolution like go hand in hand. And in some cases they do, but in most cases they don't. So when they see like when we saw Wind Waker, like that first time around, and like, you know, and this was something that was popularized even before we were really talking about frame rates and stuff like that. People didn't want to play Nintendo games because they look kiddie, because of the cartoony style or like the colorful style. Like it was too colorful for them, and that's the reason why a lot of games within the 8th generation were like browns. Even in the 7th generation, we're like browns. That was like the color palette. We got to have different colors of browns and grays and blacks, because those colors, if you hit them right, like they'll pop just a little bit more than other colors. But then you saw Wind Waker HD, and it was just like, oh, we guess you can do that. You can make that pretty, and with popping colors. And the game is in 1080, so yeah, it's just one of those things that people try and associate with to try and push a narrative. That's basically what it is at the end of the day. They like to try and push a narrative. It's just crazy where we're at in gaming today. I did not expect it to like be this bad, and we can change it. It can be changed. It's easy for it to be changed. It's just got to happen, and that's what makes me scared for like Switch 2 to come out, because people are moving towards this. What is the name of that game? Man, what is the name of that game? It just left my head. Dang. Now I'm gonna have to look it up. Half-Life. Duh. That's what I was thinking. Half-Life. It's moving into like this Half-Life 3 territory. Nowhere near like the extent of how that is. But to the extent that like people's expectations are a little too high. So if they don't meet it in any kind of way, like it doesn't damage the brand. Don't get me wrong. Like Nintendo is still going to sell very well, but expect that to be the narrative for the next 7 or 8 years that the Switch 2 comes out. Like, oh, the Switch 2 can't operate this and it can't do that, and Steam Deck over this, and blah blah blah. And this is what this can do over the Switch 2, and blah 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 blah. Like that's going to be the conversation. And even if they do hit it right, somebody is going to make something not too long after the Switch 2, and then that will be the new quote unquote Switch killer, because it can do this, it can do that, it can do this, and heaven forbid it emulates Switch 2 games at that point, because then they're like, oh, and you could play Switch 2 games, which we're back into the piracy thing. But yeah, it's crazy where the gaming industry is going. we just need. I think we just need a whole reality check. But like Jack said, like a whole soft restart on the industry would really actually do it some good. We'll see if that happens. I hope the Switch 2 is where Nintendo wants it to be, where third party can utilize it to be able to port to other handhelds, the other PC handhelds. But we'll see. I'm real positive for that. So before I get out of here, I wanted to say shout out to all our new subscribers. Shout out to all our new subscribers. Thank you guys so much for subscribing to the channel. We are at 474, I think. I think we're at 474 subscribers, which is crazy. We've been moving. Yeah, 474 subscribers. That's what's up. So we're 26 away. We're 26 away from our 500 subscriber giveaway, where we give away 500. I keep saying that. Where we give away $50 to our winner for either PC, Xbox, PlayStation, or Switch, or whatever your preferred platform, I should say, is. You can win a chance to get $50. Depending, sometime in the future. I have a whole lot to do, and as a leader for a church too, my extra stuff gets allocated for my ministry too. So, but I may have other giveaways and stuff like that leading up to there, whether it's like $10 gift card here or there. So, and I'm actually thinking about doing a $10 gift card very soon. So, because you guys have been awesome, man. You guys have been absolutely amazing. We've been pushing. We've been pushing, and it's been awesome. I love this community. Y'all are great. So I want to give a thank you to my moderators for holding down the fort every single time, every Saturday, and on everybody else's podcast too. And I want to thank Jay Biggs too, because he holds me down on the Joe podcast as well. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Tranel. Thank you, Dark Void. Thank you, Brand Smith, man. Y'all are amazing moderators. Andre, my Winging It podcast brother, comes through every week. I really appreciate it. Retro, my Jill podcast brother, comes through all the time. Nightwolf, man, you came late, bro. Like, unless you were already here, then I'll say my bad. But I thank you too, Nightwolf, because you do show up as well. SK Massive, you said you listened to in the background and you jumped in today. I really appreciate that. Just engaging with us and having conversation. Triple M, as usual, you show up too. You and Exodia. Exodia has been coming through. I want to say shout outs to Geronimo. I know he didn't jump in today. But I appreciate him coming through whenever he can. Amanda, thank you so much. She was here at the beginning of the show. I don't know if she stayed to listen, but I really appreciate you coming in and chilling with us. Ipsters, as usual, I appreciate you. That's my guy from on the other side of the pond. Ipsters came through and played some games with us. So he's actually been on the podcast. But yeah, guys, okay, yeah, thank you, Exodia. Yes. Go back and listen to this, Nightwolf, because it was actually a really good one. It was a really good one. We had a good podcast. Some great points. But I just want to thank all you guys for coming in every Saturday and just having fun. We're going to be playing one of our games soon because there's a lot more of you guys, one of our games is it's like who's the best or something like that. Who's the best or like what's the best or whatever. So we have some games that are still like announced for the end of the year, but we're gonna probably play that game soon. If nothing happens though, I want to make sure that nothing happens so that we can play it without interruption. But news is still coming in, so as long as we have news, like we still got to talk about it. But yeah, real quickly, giving out my spew before you leave. every Saturday, 9 o'clock, Stormcast. Unless I change it to like 7 o'clock. But 9 o'clock every week, so every Saturday. Trey Vito has the Vitoverse every other Friday. We just did one yesterday. Make sure you go over there and check it out. We check out different trailers and stuff like that. Have a good time. Talk about entertainment. Talk about anime. Make sure you go over to Nodoko Yui channel as well. Subscribe to him, man. Show him some love. That's actually, we're moving that into like the third pillar of the storm, of the Sandstorm show. So here you get, the gaming piece, and we talk a little bit about music. Trey Vito, you get the entertainment piece, and you talk more about music. And Noto, you get the gaming piece and the anime piece as well. So like we've got the trifecta going. Make sure you show up for his channel as well, and shout him out, show him some love. Really appreciate that. So tomorrow we have the Winging It podcast. I will give you a sneak peek on what we're talking about. So the title of tomorrow's podcast is going to be Standing on Business. So make sure y'all show up for that. I can't give you any more than what I just gave you. I'm not trying to have Jay come for me, but that's the title of the title. That's the title of the title. That's the title of the title. That sounds right? The title of tomorrow's video. Let's just say that. That felt a little bit better. Monday is the Jill podcast. They just had one last Monday, and Juice didn't tell me, so I'll just make sure I text him early and be like, "Are we having another one?" I will say that we probably will, because he had the whole video on piracy and all that other stuff, and I'm sure that Juice is probably going to want to give his takes on it too. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But other than that, that's all. Nightwolf. What did you say, Nightwolf? Was this podcast about gaming industry still trying to stop Nintendo? No, it's actually. You probably didn't catch. So to kind of wrap it up, it was about Digital Foundry. They started off talking about how Nintendo, out of the three, Nintendo would probably be the least affected if they moved their games to PC, which kind of led into people taking Digital Foundry's word as fact, including like games to buy and stuff like that, and really reading into the numbers, like the frames and stuff, instead of, is the game fun? And using that to flip it to try and get other people not to play the game. So yeah, it's just behaviors of the gaming industry pretty much. So yeah, like Trinell said, more like the behaviors and trends need to stop. And Hey, yeah, I appreciate it. So that's going to do it for us, guys. I really appreciate you. We'll see you guys tomorrow on the Winging It podcast at 7 o'clock.